All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever employed podcast.
Hi there.
It is me. I'm not really sure what my internet name is going to be anymore. Right now, I go by the Big Ugg. If you want to check me out on Twitch, I'm there once a year.
Same thing, except I'm a Sumbum. I Twitch every Thursday and Friday at 6 p.m. Strict Mondays at 7 a.m. Nah, I'm just messing with you.
He ain't never streamed a day in his life. Don't ever
I
go
know
back.
terribly, terribly inconsistent. And I apologize to all my fans out there that have been DMing me about it. That's a joke too. I don't have no, but seriously, it's a problem.
All right. Just in the background today, we got some Civ that we're playing. So if that also interests you, then that's a double win for this video.
Yep. Who'd you pick?
Oh God. The first emperor, whoever that is, I forgot his name.
I am Frederick Barbosa.
All right, just a lot of
Alright.
turn skipping.
Well, not gonna lie, I think my computer just froze.
All right, so the topics for today's podcast,
Yes.
I think we'll start out with a healthy one.
Okay.
Coming into adulthood and
Coming
what that
into
means
adulthood.
for like us in our lives and how everything's changing.
Oh boy, that's a deep one to start off with. All right, I dig it.
I mean, we're two fellas that just like every other person in the world wanted to be famous on YouTube, and we gave it a we gave it a good shot.
2 videos later, our account gets suspended.
Oh, besides that, you know,
And we're never allowed to upload again.
that is true.
So without going too far into it, we'll just say our YouTube days were numbered.
You know, we tried. We had fun with it.
Yeah,
We started that when we lived in the dorms at college. We no longer live in the dorms. Still in school though.
yeah, trying to figure all that out. That's been a joke so far.
Not the easiest thing.
It's really not. I think the hardest thing for me, especially after I decided not to come back to Brockport, is finding every day the motivation to. This is gonna sound really bad, but the motivation to just keep pushing yourself. You know, like every day. No, and you always has those second guesses on whether you're doing what you know you want to do, and you're
Yeah.
spending a lot of money on something. At the end of the day, you're thinking, man, is this even gonna be worth it for me? Like, when I get this degree, am I even gonna want to do what this degree prepared me to do?
Yeah. I feel like there's this big rush in school. It's like, once you finish high school, you got to go to college.
Oh yeah.
And then, like, I don't know. You go and you start, in your major. You start taking classes because, you got to pick a major right away to get any sort of financial aid.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So you're already, like, guessing what you want to do. Like, oh, maybe this will be cool. And then you get there, and then 4 semesters later, and $50,000, you're like, is this really what I want to do? And it's too late to change. Because who has, like, money to just... They're like, oh, well, another 4 years, they'll do something else.
Yeah. Just perpetually be in school and just dig yourself in deeper debt. And just to kind of go off of that, speaking of the, $50,000 thing, it's another frustrating thing, moving into adulthood and doing more adult things, I guess you could say, is trying to buy a house, banks look at it, and one of the loan officers looked at me when I was applying for a house like I had three heads. And she's like, "Wow, you have student loans," and I I almost laughed. I almost laughed right in her face because I'm like, "Ooh." I didn't think that was such a rare thing nowadays. But
Who doesn't have student loans?
exactly,
You know, you got to go to
now.
school or you're nothing.
Especially now, and the point is, it seems like more so now than going through school, I'm being punished more than I'm ever being rewarded for going to school. I have a job that doesn't doesn't pay very well, but it's in my field, and it's never going to pay well. And the catch, and it's like the bank expects you to come right out of college with student loan debt, making $100,000 a year to offset your debt, and it's like, where do you go to do that? You know? And
Yeah, it's just not possible.
no.
Like, I have a degree and I can't even do what I want. I've been in school for 4 years and I have to go for like another 4.
Yeah, to even be worth anything in your field. You know?
You get like a 4-year degree and somehow I still get the same jobs I did when I was 16.
It's just a sad reality of it, and it's too bad that it has to be that way. And I never agreed with the whole oh well, you got to wait your turn and rise up in the ranks and stuff like that. I figure if you're qualified, you're confident in the skill set that you have, why? I just don't understand why you have to suffer through your 20s to have to establish any kind of life until your 30s.
It's just
let's
a
be
waste.
realistic. Let's be realistic here. 30, 35, your life's almost half over. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but I mean, realistically, you know, barring you're in perfect health your entire life, I mean,
That's just it.
by that, yeah, you got to wait until half your life is over to start feeling comfortable. I just don't agree with that at all.
It's, I don't know, it's a tough like reality. And like going back to like if you're qualified, most recently in this place that I work, you know, it's not like a big promotion, but I could go from like, you know, the average Joe worker to like a shift supervisor.
Right.
Granted,
Sure.
I haven't been there as long as some other people have been there, but like I'm one of the few people there that have like a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
I like I enjoy working there. It's not like the hardest job in the world, and it's not like I'm doing tons of physical labor or anything. You know, it's like a cool, relaxing place to work. But like I was looked over for any sort of promotion just because I haven't been there as long as someone else. Not like how like my work ethic or anything other than just how long I've been there.
Yeah. And I mean, that just reinforces the statement that, you know, and maybe, and I hate hearing the generational thing too, that we're entitled, and it's like, it's not entitlement, it's knowing your value, you know?
Right.
Like, it's not like I think I should come into a new job and immediately be CEO. It's knowing your own value and knowing what you're worth. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I don't think, you know, anyone should expect anything other than that. Why shouldn't you be confident in what you do? Confident in your ability to, like you said, you know, maybe a shift supervisor. Be able to at least prove that you could lead even though you haven't been there as long.
Right.
You know, that doesn't mean you're not going to be better than the person that's been there 6 years. Some people pick a job, they're there forever, and they suck at it just because they genuinely don't care, you know?
I would just want to be like evaluated at like my performance and like my qualities towards, you know, what I could bring to the company, and not just oh, you've been here for 8 months, so this person's been here for, you know, a year.
Yeah. It should be more based on your work ethic than I think your qualifications. You know what I mean? I feel like work ethic should go a long way, more than even experience sometimes. Just because someone has 20 years in, let's say, management. Okay, say they managed, a fast food chain or something like that. That doesn't mean they did it well. That just means they did it just good enough to get by,
Right.
or someone wasn't actually caring what they did. Just because you do something for a long time doesn't mean you're good at it.
Right. And it's most often what I find is like people that have done something for a long time, like stop caring about it.
Oh, absolutely.
So like,
For sure.
it's just a job right now until I can like finish school, but I mean, I'm gonna be there a short time, not for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I can't like be, something better for them while I'm there.
Right. Put your best foot forward, in the time that you're given. Instead of just wasting your time, you want to feel like you're doing something,
Right.
even at a part-time job, for sure.
And if not for like validation for being, better than everyone else, at least I'll be making more money.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Goodness.
And that's what it's all about. Because if
That's
you don't
what
have
it is.
money, you don't have anything.
Yeah. I love the people that have a lot of money that say, "Oh, money won't bring you happiness." I agree with that. I don't think money is just going to make you happy, but being comfortable, I
Yeah.
feel like being comfortable would make people happy. Not having to stress out every single day of their lives. How am I going to pay even my cell phone bill sometimes? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Money won't bring me happiness, but it's going to bring me a whole hell of a lot of more like security in my life.
for sure.
It's going to fix a lot of my unhappy problems.
Because when you sit down to think about it, it's like, I can't do a lot of things that would make me happy because I just don't have the money.
Right.
And it sucks using that as an excuse all the time, but it's true. It is. You don't need to make $1 million, but being comfortable is different.
Right.
Being comfortable and happy.
Oh man. Yeah. Money isn't everything, but it's like 99% of stuff.
Yeah. Especially just in the economy that we live in, you need money to do anything, really. We'll go take a walk in the woods. You'll feel yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can't afford to get to the woods. I gotta get to work tomorrow. Ain't got that much gas.
Freaking yeah. Oh well, people have their own things, I guess. If that's what
If you don't have to worry about money, then you have it made.
yeah.
All your other problems come from like other social aspects of your life.
Yeah, for sure. Not saying those aren't serious problems, obviously, but it's just like like you said, it's just one less thing to have to worry about.
Right.
And this rings more true, at least for me lately, in the whole aspect of knowing that right now, and this kind of stays on our topic of coming into adulthood and what the hell are you even doing in your early 20s trying to do anything.
Right.
I'm working. I have taken on 3 different jobs now. Still going to school even through the summer months. And I'm working 3 jobs. Okay, putting a lot of effort into each of them. One of them's 40-hour. Point is, I'm working 60 hours a week. Okay,
Right.
on top of school. And I am struggling, especially in the bank size. Okay, I am struggling to get out on my own and do anything. It seems like I'm still living literally week to week with financial situation, uh, with my financial situation. It's like week to week, and I just do not think that is right to have. And it just sounds like I'm gonna sit here and bitch the entire time.
Well, I'm sure like other people who might like find this helpful to know that like you see all your friends on social media and they're like doing really well and they're only like
Yeah.
posting the best parts of their lives and it seems like they have it all figured out and like
Yeah.
everything's great for them, why can't it be great for me? But in
Yeah.
reality, like no one knows what they're doing.
Yeah, right. Well, actually, I'm really glad you said that, because social media actually, I don't want to say, I've been depressed about it or anything like that, but I'll see where I am in life, and it's if I could, advise one thing, it's like don't compare yourself to other people, and that is so hard because I do it all the time.
Yeah, and that's
But
like all social media teaches you to do is like I'm gonna look at this person's feed, and then you're like,
yeah,
oh well, they can afford to go to this concert, and then you like compare that to your financial situation. You're like, man, I can't even afford to put gas in my car.
it's so true though. I mean, you see exactly like you said. You see posts, you see pictures of them being so happy, and it's like every single day, and it's like you're trying your best to be happy. You're not in a bad mood every day because you got to work hard, and sometimes a lot of times it's very rewarding knowing you're working so hard,
Right.
but it's so hard to do that every day and feel like you you can never uh, promote yourself on social media like for some reason some of your other friends are, and it's just like, what are they doing that I'm not? But in reality, like you said, you don't know. They could just be doing it because they need to compensate with how miserable they they really
Yeah,
are.
how miserable their
Yeah.
life is,
Yeah,
like
and they live on the fact that maybe I can make myself seem happier than I am.
and then that's all it is. It's just everyone compares themselves to each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, if I could say one thing, it's to never do that. But it's hard. It is not easy to sit there and go, oh, yeah, they're doing them, and I'm gonna do me. It's hard. It's
it
hard to
just
sit there and do that.
it rarely ever works like that.
No, no, and that's just part of being real with yourself. Life
Right.
isn't perfect. Like we always try and sum up in a motivational quote or something like that. It helps us get by, sure, thinking like that, but it can't be a permanent lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think you become such a disingenuous person when I meet someone like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't seem real, because it's like there's no way you don't have. And I'm glad people don't take out their problems. That's not what I'm saying on other people. I'm just saying, I feel like people that try and compensate that much just aren't. It's hard to be real with them, is what I'm trying to get at, I guess.
Yeah. Definitely. So all in all, like I don't know. It's fine to look at social media and everything and
Mhm.
see what everyone else is doing in their life, but as you're doing that and thinking that, your little existence is, so much less than everyone else's, I think it's just important to realize that they also don't know what they're doing.
Oh, for sure. For sure. We're all at the same place. It may seem like we're completely different, but we're all there. We're all dealing with the same problems. Maybe not this, same situation, but
Yeah.
problems we all can relate to. It's just other people deal with it differently. Some people take to social media, some people don't, Some people don't feel like posting their every second of their life to get some kind of satisfaction or reaffirmment from it. Some
Yeah,
people
definitely.
just deal with it differently.
And that comes down to like a like extrovert introvert kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot
Yeah.
easier for like some people to express themselves outward
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for like someone like me, I don't know, just kind of do it on my own.
Yeah. Yeah, the introversion extroversion thing is I think it gets confused a lot. Now you obviously probably know a lot more about it than I do, just given your background in education. But a big part of extroversion and introversion that I found is it doesn't mean just because you're introverted, like people get this stigma that they're socially awkward people. That's not what it means.
Oh no, not at all.
No, a big part of it's just how people recover and deal with their stresses throughout the day. Now, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, or when I get done with this, say if I'm wrong or correct anything. But extroverted people, when they get done with work, they've worked all day. Extroverted people like to be around other people to kind of recuperate from like their stressful work day, or what have you. They need that time socially with other people, whereas introverts, they need time alone. It's not that they don't like being with people, but they need time alone to recover, to recuperate with themselves, and then they're just as happy going out as anyone else. That doesn't mean going out to parties. I just mean like socializing.
Right.
And introverts just need that time alone to recover from a stressful day, or deal with things and work things out on their own. And I think that's kind of a big part of it as well. I mean, did that sound about right, or
no?
At least part of the solution?
No, I think that's like a really good understanding, because most people just think that like, oh, you're an introvert, it's you're not going to be any fun, or you're not going to want to like do anything with me, and it's just going to be really awkward. But in like reality, introverts are like just as successful and interesting people as someone who you might view as an extrovert. It just means that their day might be set up a little bit different. For an introvert, they need that time alone to like be okay, and like keep going through the day, whereas like someone who is extrovert will like pursue other people, and other people make them comfortable. I took a leadership class in my most recent semester, and like before, I definitely thought that like it's hard to be a leader as someone who's like introverted, and it's hard to like bring a group of people together. But in like reality, introverts are just as successful as other people at bringing people together. Just the way that they do it is different. Like someone who's introverted might just sit in the background for a little bit until they can like bring the group together once they've like thought everything through. Whereas like an extroverted person is more into openly talking about the problem with their group.
Right.
I don't know. The point is, after a long spiel, is that I don't know, I guess coming into life and this topic is it's okay to be introverted or extroverted. You just gotta like learn what that means for you, and how to like put yourself out there with your like communication style.
Absolutely. There's no reason to kind of going off that. I saw a Facebook article a long time ago that said the headline, and the headlines are always fantastic. But it was like science shows extroverts make 6 times more than introverts, something like that. And
that's
you click on the article,
not, like,
and
true at all.
And I was curious, so I did click on it just to see what it said. And sorry, my throat's killing me. And you read these articles, and they're literally saying nothing. Like, I don't even know who gets paid to write the articles, but
that's just it. They get paid for like people to click on it.
Yeah, And it's really so true though. I swear to God, they spend 6 hours coming up with the title and then 15 minutes writing the rest of it because it's all just a bunch of baloney that's not backed up by anything. It's just somebody felt like saying that, and
Yeah.
they wrote an article about it. You know.
Yeah. But
So
then, you know, you like think about it for a second and look at Bill Gates.
yeah,
Probably
right?
like one of the most introverted people out there. And he makes
Mhm.
billions.
Yeah. But it's exactly what I mean. The point is, like, don't let things like that. Don't think you have to be this big social butterfly, extroverted, you know, whatever, to be successful. There's ways to do it. It's just figuring out your style and how to do it. And
Yeah.
it's easy said. It's very easy for us to just sit here and say that. It's very easy, but
It's
executing it's hard.
yeah, it's not easy
Yeah.
to do. It takes a long time.
It does. I mean, I don't know about you, but I can sit here myself and confidently say I struggle with really finding my voice sometimes, how I should present something, you know?
Right.
Sometimes I feel like I have to be like this extroverted just in my line of work right now. I feel like I have to be this like extroverted person, like you know, figuring out things, talking to a lot of people all the time, making connections, quote unquote. That doesn't mean I'm extroverted. That just means I have to do what's required of my job, but I can do it in my way. You know,
Right.
I don't have to do it as an extroverted person stereotypically would do. There's, you know, you don't have to do it that way,
Right.
and no one can tell you that you have to.
I feel like most of the awkwardness comes when like an extroverted or an introverted person tries to like pursue an extroverted style because they feel like that's what they have to do to make friends, or that's what they have to do to like get themselves out there. But in like reality, I did a lot of studying on people like Bill Gates and stuff who are so introverted but use their style so successfully that they are who they are now. I mean, everyone
Right.
knows Bill Gates. It doesn't mean that he went out and did 10 million speeches like, I don't know, someone who's extroverted or tries to be.
Yeah, yeah. It's all learning how you present it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I
So,
feel like
let
it
me
makes
ask-
you awkward when
Yeah.
you're not comfortable with what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, and feel free to again answer this however you feel best. But when it comes to extroverted people in the stereotypical sense and introverted people, um, do you think there's like how does that friendship work between those two? Can there be friendships between those two, or is it going to be like this awkward? Because an extroverted person, like we just got done saying, deals with his daily stresses different than an introverted person. Is there that foundation there to really build good friendships on such when they deal with things so differently?
I think there is, but I think like I think that's perfectly, you know, like doable, but like with all friendships there has to be like understanding and like compassion from both ends for like the introverted person to be like, all right, this person's being like overbearing right now, and like being okay telling them that like, hey, I'm just gonna hang out by myself today. And then from the other end, like the extroverted person being like, all right, so like this person, you know, just needs some alone time, whereas like I don't really care for the alone time. But like that understanding that there's needs on both ends, I think is, you know, important. And I think that's important with like any relationship, no matter like how novel it may be, is understanding that, you know, both people have needs.
Yeah.
I don't know if
No,
that
I
answers the
like
question.
that. No, it does for sure. No, I like that. I was just, you know, a big part of it is I was thinking, I know me and you had a close friend at one point, very a very extroverted type personality, and going off the awkwardness part, he at times didn't like. I would say me and you we're very introverted people as far as what we talked about so far, you know?
Right.
And I think we understand that about each other because there was times even when we lived together where we understood that each of us just needed our alone time sometimes.
Right.
And while we loved hanging out with each other, we understood that we both needed that time to just be alone and, you know, not talk and not feel awkward about it. You know what I mean?
Right. And like silence doesn't
but-
have to be awkward. You just have to understand like different people have different needs. It doesn't mean that they like hate you. It's just
Yeah.
a different situation for them.
Yeah. And I feel like a big part of the awkwardness when you have a relationship with a typical extroverted person with an introverted person is if they don't understand, you know, and they refuse to understand. That part of the awkwardness is when they try and force you to be like their persona. You know what I mean?
Right. When they're forcing you to be something who you're not because they're not comfortable with
Yeah.
like your style of living.
Yeah. And yeah, it just kind of sucks because you feel like a lot of first impressions are kind of ruined. It's like just because you're not all, you know, brother sister the first time you meet someone, I feel like sometimes that, you know, if presented the wrong way, they get ruined. Does that make sense?
Right. Like
Okay.
a first impression, you know, is like the first step for any relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's totally justified to feel like, you know, and if your mind that didn't like go perfectly, then that might put, you know, a future relationship at jeopardy.
Yeah. Yeah. Faux show. On the other hand, my civilization is making 5 gold per turn. No big deal. How you doing over there in your neck of the woods?
I got 5.6 gold per turn.
What are you doing so well?
I don't
What
know.
could I do
I feel like I'm just clicking things. I'm not really paying attention
I
to what's
was-
going on.
I was gonna say this entire time I think I've just been like going through the motions and not really thinking about
Right.
like, anything I've done.
It's just, you know, whatever.
Yes, whatever.
Yeah, all right. I don't know. I think that friend whom you speak of,
Whom dost thouest we speak?
who shall never be named. I don't know. I feel like that's an example of a person who, you know, is out there to make you uncomfortable. Like, if you're an
Yeah.
introvert, if you're not exactly like this person or like the same standing as this person, then they're the kind of person that wants nothing to do with you and is just going to make your life miserable. And I think it's important to figure out who those people are early on and understand that, like, even though you may want friends and you may be desperate to have like these connections with people because you think that that's, you know, what you want at the time, I think it's important to realize that, you know, toxic people are always going to be toxic, and it's going to be much more beneficial for you in the long run to realize that you don't need these people, and like you'll just be better off without them.
Yeah. No, I think that's very, very well put. You know, it's finding out early on what you need in your. Sometimes you got to be selfish, you know, but selfish in a way that's not going to hurt people, but it's going to be better for you.
Right.
You know.
You know, when I first went to college, it was like, you know, I didn't go anywhere close to my home, so I didn't have any friends. And it was always like, I always wanted, you know, like friends. Everyone has friends when they go to college. You know, you go out and do all these parties and stuff. But like in reality, that wasn't like how I socialize at all. And then I forced myself to be friends with these people who aren't, you know, remotely interested in my well-being, and only like would take advantage of me for, you know, things that you have or things that you may be able to give them.
Yeah.
And like this person who we're speaking about had such like a power dynamic that like anyone that would follow them would be, you know, just boost their ego.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something you need to look out for. You're not here to boost anyone's ego.
No. No. You gotta do what's right for you. For you and your relationships.
And I was also thinking, you know, I have a 4-year degree. And, like...
Sure you do.
No one ever told me, like, what to do next. You know what I mean? Like...
Oh, yeah.
You get the 4-year degree, and then no one tells you, you know... It's like, alright, so you got that, now... Go do this. Like, when you're done with school, then you're, like, pretty much set out on your own, and then you have to figure out what you can even do with your degree, first of all. Because what you go to school for, to get a degree for, you may, like... So, like, whatever you go to school to get a job for, you may be, like, doing it completely wrong the whole time in school, and no one, like, cares to tell you that. You know? Like,
Yeah.
if you want to go into journalism, no one tells you that you don't even need a degree to do that. Or, like, marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, it, like, looks better if you have a degree, but you can go out and, like, just get a job.
Oh,
and
yeah.
do marketing for someone. So then you have to...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
So you have to, like, weigh your options, you know, is, like, school the right choice for you? Or to, like, just dive right in?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like you have more experience with that than I do.
I mean, I wouldn't say too much more experience. I feel like... Well, because me and you are coming from totally different educations, you know, like, degrees. So I guess there is more experience on my end anyway. But I was just gonna say, especially in the world now of internet and everything we can do online, it's honestly amazing. There is so much freelance work out there, and people are legitimately making livings off of just starting something from passion and from reading a few books. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
read some books that have high quality content in them. And I'll be honest with you, most of my degree, I've learned more in my field, like, reading on my own than I ever have in class. Everything in class that I've learned, it's just like, it's all just a book. You can buy that book and go through that book without someone teaching it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Like,
then, like, the unfortunate part on the side of that is, like, you could do all that studying all by yourself, you know, and not go to college, but then if you don't have that degree, then no one assumes that you can do anything.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part. It's like, and it's just like the workplace environment. Just because you've done something longer doesn't mean you can do it better.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean and I'm not trying to devalue college education and degrees at all, but I'm just saying, just because someone has a college degree does not mean that they are smarter or better than you are. It really doesn't.
Not at all. I have, like, this running like, theory in my head that so, like, a couple points. When you're going through school, these might help you.
All right. We're ready.
What I was thinking is, you can never base your knowledge off that of a professor. At all. Like, you can never base your understanding of something off of them, because they get paid to teach the same thing semester after semester, day after day, more than once a day. So, like, just the sheer amount of time that they're spending, like, teaching and lecturing, of course they're gonna, like, know all these facts and stuff. Of course they're gonna be able to, like, name all the ligaments in your leg because they just got done teaching, you know, 4 classes on it that day.
Right.
So never like base how smart you are off of what like your professor is like teaching you,
Mm-hmm.
because they just have like more time doing it, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know if that made much sense. But basically is what I'm saying is like teachers may seem smart, but it's only because they teach the same thing day after day.
Yeah. No, I think that
So
makes
don't like
ab-
feel bad
absolutely
about like
perfect sense.
not knowing every detail. Like, oh,
Yeah.
they know every detail, I don't know anything because I don't, you know, I'm not like them.
Yeah.
You won't be like them unless you like teach it day after day.
Yeah. No, I think that makes totally perfect sense. It really does. So that's point one of your what was it, your 6-point plan.
This is my 10-year plan. Wouldn't you know, I forgot the rest of them. I don't know. I always felt down, like I didn't know anything when I went to classes because here were these professors and they knew so much. But I don't know. They get paid to teach the same thing day after day.
Yeah.
No one's paying you to learn it right now, so.
No. And that's what sucks too. Is they're like, oh well, your education's an investment. Okay, well then just let me invest the $300 that my book was, and I'll teach myself everything.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, I've learned more from studying on my own. And I guess, that's just me too. People have different ways of learning. But I learn more studying on my own than I ever do going to a lecture hall or ever going to class. That's just me, I guess. But I feel like, there's definitely a group. I can't be the only one that's like that.
No,
There's got to be a
you're
group of
never
people
like
out
the
there.
only one.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I
there's
learned most of
people
my
out there.
stuff in college from going to like just going to a lecture, and then like I would study the day before the test, and that was like perfectly fine for me. I would like retain a lot of stuff that I had heard in lecture.
Mm-hmm.
Long term, is that the best idea? I'm not sure. That's to be determined. I think it's important to read.
You know what's really funny about the past? Sorry, I don't mean to break the seriousness of the conversation, but the past the past 8 seconds, you have been really chopped up, and I haven't heard anything you've said. And then, clear as day, all I heard was, "I think it's important to read."
Yeah, you know what they say.
Oh god. It sounded so funny because I'm sitting here like, yep, hearing every fifth word.
Yep, he has no idea what he's talking about.
I think
And the
it's
truth
important
is,
to read.
I don't know, I'm only 22. I'm only talking about like through my life experiences.
Yeah.
And if anything, I'm not like telling anyone how they should live their life. But, maybe if me talking about my experiences makes someone realize that
Right.
the way they're living isn't so bad, and maybe everyone doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah. And I feel like people got to respect that, Like, yeah, people that, these people that come off very positive and, only post the good things every day, they may have a good following, or not even a following, but, they get a lot of likes or comments, things like that. That doesn't... Oh, shit, I forgot what I was going to say because something popped up on my screen. Piss, where was I going with that? It was stupid anyway, I'm sure.
It made no sense in the long run. Most of
In
what
the
I'm
long
saying
run.
doesn't make any sense. I have an idea what I want to say. I'm just not very good at stating it yet.
I'm not good at speaking them there words, Oh, kid, you're so precious. I got my cat sleeping on my my computer desk right now, and now he's licking my fingers.
Cats,
It's
man.
very- Cats.
The key to happiness.
The play. We should write our own cats play. Tell
Lord
me
knows
to
I have
take
enough
off.
of them.
You really do. Man, I wish I could remember where I was going with that. I felt like it was a good,
Yeah, and then it's just gone, just like that.
Just like that. It's gone. Oh, wait, oh! It's coming back. Wait, hold on. Okay. here we
I'm
go.
holding.
All right, here's the thing. Here's what it was gonna be. They post. They're all happy. They get a lot of whatevers, and you're sitting here like, oh man, I posted a picture and, or maybe even didn't. I don't care. Point is, you know what the great thing is I forgot again where I wanted to go
All
with
right.
this damn story.
Well, you know what? I had something to say, kind of going off what you started saying, but you're not sure what you're saying.
All right, so maybe you can finish this for me. So go
All
ahead.
right. So I was
Take the
thinking,
reins.
I have an Instagram, and I only have, 75 followers, and I only follow, 150 people.
Yeah.
And, you go to, one of these people that you've met, and, they have, 1,700 followers, and they're following,
Oh
just
my
as
God,
many
I know.
people.
Yeah.
And, I thought for the longest time, it was like, man, I'm such a loser. I don't have any friends. Yes, that may be true.
I was gonna say, well, let's
But,
not-
the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I realized that I value, actual friendship. And, yeah, maybe I would get some sort of validation for having all these people follow me. But at the end of the day, I think I'm just as happy in knowing that, I actually know these 75 people. I've actually had a connection to these 75 people. They're not just people that are purely there to validate me
right.
in my day-to-day life.
Actually, that is exactly kind of where I was going with that. It's all a part about being a genuine person and genuinely caring for,
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people miss when they base all their validation, like you said, on numbers. At the end of the day, what do those numbers mean? They're not someone that's going to come pick you up if your car breaks down,
Right.
if your car runs out of gas, if you're having a bad day. You know what I mean?
Those people
not
don't
gonna-
care.
No, they're not. They're just there because you can give them something. They're not there because they want any kind of mutualness from you,
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with having a following at all. But just realize that just because you have a following doesn't mean that you're ever better than anyone. That's just my biggest thing,
Right.
It's always just be humble, nothing makes you better than anyone else. We're all just on this planet together trying to die.
Right? We're all hurrying up to die.
Yeah. No, but really though, just remember that if you, like you said, if you don't have a big following and you meet people that do, don't beat yourself up over it. It really doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's as long as you value the friends that you have and the following that you have, like everything we've said today, it's easy to say, it's hard to do, but just try and remember that, that you don't need that to feel verified, to feel like you have worth on this planet,
Right.
No, very good point. And now my cat is deciding to attack my headphones, and
Right.
and yep,
So if you're
And-
someone that's worrying about, comparing yourself to these other people, just realize that maybe you find validation a different way. That doesn't mean that you're broken or don't work as a human being. You're just out
Right.
there for a different kind of satisfaction.
absolutely.
I feel like, especially in our part of the world, it's very, very based on being an extroverted person, having all these friends and being out there. I feel like that pressure is, too much for a lot of people.
Yeah. And just to kind of add my own personal story to it, not just stating general things, but and this is gonna sound really stupid, but back when I was, oh god, I can't.
Oh goodness.
What?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Back when I was doing YouTube, and genuinely I liked making videos and things like that, but I struggled so hard to realize that I could just act like myself, and who really cares about views, about subscribe, about likes and stuff like that. It's like I found myself so miserable after I'd put effort into making a video, because my expectations and the way I tried to present things were just not, they just weren't who I was at the bottom of everything, and props to those people that can just fake it till they make it, and because it is hard on your mental capacity. It is just, it really is. At least for me, it was very hard. And
right.
I'm glad now that I haven't made a video in a long time or done anything like that, but I feel a lot more comfortable now knowing that if I ever wanted to again, I could just be, you don't have to be the funniest guy, you don't have to be this big persona to be happy with what you're doing, And
right.
Anyone out there that's trying to do the same thing, just know that if you do it and it makes you happy, just do it. Don't try and be like what the status quo is saying that you should be to get popular. So many videos out there that are how to get famous on YouTube, how to grow your Twitter following, things like that. It's like, who cares?
It's all honestly, it's all fake.
It is. Absolutely.
Just all fake.
Mm-hmm. It is. It really is.
Ugh. I don't know. Going off what makes you happy. Life isn't all work. I think everyone should find out, what they really enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
We used to, work out and be in really good shape we would work out every day, and some semesters we would go twice a day. And,
those were the days.
Right. Now I'm just a white whale sitting at my computer.
Oh,
and
God.
Truthfully, that's made me really unhappy with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hear you.
I'm trying to do the workout thing again, but it's just not that easy.
No, it's not. It's hard changing any kind of routine that you're in, or committing to something,
Right.
And I fell into the same thing, like
coming into adulthood, the theme of this podcast is, you don't have time to do everything. There's never enough time to do everything. And now that I don't live on campus and I have my own apartment, and I'm paying for my own car, the only times I eat is the times I can afford to feed myself.
Yeah.
You can't always, do everything you want. So I think it's important to find, the things that you really want to do,
mm-hmm.
and focus on them.
Yeah. Actually, funny coincidence here. There's an older woman that always works out where I work. I work at a Y. Yeah, I can't. I work at a Y. All right, and she's out there every day. She's honestly inspiring. She's almost 7 years old, and she kicks butt, man. She goes at it. She's actually doing group X class, things like that. But she said something that is almost verbatim what you just said. She was talking about there's these, it's like a purple hat society. I don't know what it is. But it's
Who
like
are these
this-
people and how do I join them? As an open membership.
No, she made it sound very exclusive, but it's like this group of older women, and they just walk around and act like they're just because they're part of this purple hat club that obviously means absolutely nothing.
Does she work out in a purple hat? Does she have like a purple beanie she wears when she works out? And then it's a fedora when she
No,
leaves?
she's not part of it.
Oh.
She's not part. Yeah, she was talking about them and how disingenuous they were, and how they're just fake people, and
Oh man, she's a
Uh,
spy in the Purple Hat Society.
yeah, you know, shout out to I don't know. Never mind. Let me get back on track before I forget.
The truth's out there.
It's out there somewhere. But her point is these people, they try and portray themselves in a certain way, think they know everything. They're like experts in everything. If you know, I'm sure somebody out there, you know, has met someone who's just an expert. They got an answer to every question that you ask instead of ever just admitting that they just don't know. You know?
Right.
And that's how this whole society functions, I guess. And
Let me
it's
tell
just-
you, when you finally build up the courage and are okay with saying that you don't know,
Mhm.
life gets so much easier.
It really does. It takes so much stress off you to just be like, you know, I just don't know. But anyway, just to sum it up real quick, she said exactly what you said. She's like, I can't stand people like that are so fake and think they know everything. It's like, just admit when you don't know. Like, you can't be a master of everything, so just pick a few things that you like and go at it. Go for it.
Right.
You know, like, you can't. She's like, it's impossible to learn everything. She's like,
Absolutely.
and for some reason it always means more coming from someone that's ancient.
Someone who's basically dust.
Yeah, like it always carries some kind of significant meaning behind it. But you know, I was really listening to her, and I'm like, you know what, that stop trying to know everything. Stop trying to do everything, because you're just going to be unhappy.
Right.
Find the things that you do and do well, or that you want to genuinely do them, and be happy that you did them. You know?
Yeah. Try very hard at a couple of things.
Yeah.
Or, like, the main things of your life, you know? Like, this is really me. And then,
Yeah.
you know, just enjoy the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're always going to walk down, you know, the streets of New York City and see a guy playing the guitar and be like, man, I want to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, you go home and you're like, oh, well, I also want to learn to play the piano, and I want to, you know, lift weights, and then I want to play golf every day. You're just going to, like, I don't know, stress yourself out that you never have time to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Time's a big thing. You know what's more valuable than the money time. Even though it's made up and it's all a bunch of hocus pocus. Time is
But
really
seriously.
just it's the hardest thing you'll ever spend, is deciding what to spend your time on. That's harder than any $10 I've ever spent.
Right.
And that's a big part of, you know, not stressing yourself out. Find a couple things you want to do them, be happy, move on. Get good at one thing. Get good at a couple things. But you can't be perfect at everything. You know? You're lucky if you can be perfect at one thing. Don't try
Right.
and do all of it.
You know,
Like,
and what's disheartening about that is there's that old saying, I don't know if it's around too much anymore, but, you know, for my generation, like growing up in school, and especially, you know, I remember it coming from, you know, like gym class and doing the athletic stuff, is that someone's always going to be better than you.
mhm.
And you just got to, like, accept that. There's always going to be that kid that, you know, instead of practicing soccer 4 days a week, he did it every day for 6 hours.
Mhm.
I don't know. Remember
That's-
that. You're always going to be shit compared to someone else.
Good take. Just playing really, you know, upbeat music in the background. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. You know? Just play it like the vlogger music in the back. You're always gonna be shit. Fucking give up.
You're always going to suck. All right, so that does it for the first episode of the Employed Podcast. You know, name subject to change. Our story continues, but I hope you enjoyed a little get together of friends as we share our experiences of life. You know, not to tell anyone how to live their life, but you know, maybe help someone out there, whoever's listening.
Sure thing. Appreciate you stopping by if you did, for listening, for caring, and you know, thanks. Appreciate it.
We'll be back soon. You know, it won't be too long. We'll be back with another topic. If you guys have any ideas of things you'd like, you know, to hear us talk about, I know we're just beginning, so probably not a lot. Shoot it our way, you know.
Okay, bye.
And cut.